I solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And if I am found to be lying, I accept prosecution under the full extent of the sports law. This is episode 6 of Sports in Order. I'm the attorney at Sports, and this is my courtroom. What's up, guys? Thanks again for tuning in. Appreciate every single one of you. If you've been enjoying the shows, go ahead and do me a favor. Subscribe to the World of Sports Network YouTube channel. That would be very beneficial for me. That would help me out a lot, and that would show me you guys really support me and what I'm doing with this whole Sports in Order series. Because I'm telling you guys, I say this every episode, it's going to be big, man. It's getting bigger and bigger. Each episode's getting better and better. And fantasy football hasn't even started yet. That's what I'm trying to emphasize to you guys. Once fantasy football starts, this show is going to be through the roof, out of here, home run. And, also my boy Ray, my World of Sports Network, the founder, we were talking last night, and we're about to start editing Sports in Order. We're about to hire an editor, do what we got to do to make this show really pop. Right now, man, it's just content. Each episode is just content. I'm just giving you guys, information and knowledge and whatnot. But now I'm going to continue to do that, but we're going to edit each episode and just make it, boom, enhance the hell out of it. And Sports in Order is really about to take off. With that being said, on today's episode, I'm going to give you my top 15 receivers in fantasy football. The previous 2 episodes, I gave you the top 10 running backs and the top 10 quarterbacks. But there's a lot of good receivers, so I figured, top 10 was going to be hard for me to do. I'll just give you guys 15. So I got my top 15 receivers in fantasy football. Then I bring the Rockets head coach, Mike D'Antoni, into the interrogation room, question and grill him on the Game 7 performance for the Rockets in the Western Conference Finals. And then, as usual, we end with what's the case on the base with my players to add and drop in fantasy baseball. With that being said, let's get right to it, baby. No time to waste. Top 15 receivers in fantasy football. Now we're gonna assume this is a PPR league, points per reception. Get you some receivers that get a lot of catches. These receivers I'm about to name, they get a lot of catches, especially with this first one. Number 1, Antonio Brown. Talk about consistency, man. Since 2013, Antonio Brown in every season has had at least 100 receptions. And the touchdowns, he's not an elite touchdown scorer, but he scores the touchdowns. Since 2013, 8 touchdowns, 13 touchdowns, 10 touchdowns, 12 touchdowns, and then just last year, 9 touchdowns. But he gets crazy targets a game, It's just a true definition of consistency. And Big Ben always looks to Antonio Brown. You can bet Big Ben will throw the ball Antonio Brown's way at least 10 times a game. And like I said, 100 receptions every single year. Come on. In the PPR league, what more can you want than 100-plus receptions? I would like to see Antonio Brown, up the touchdowns a little bit, but I'm not complaining with 120 receptions. I'm okay with that. Antonio Brown's the number 1 receiver in fantasy football. Number 2, Odell Beckham Jr. Now, I promise you I'm not a homer. I'm a diehard Giants fan. Obviously, you guys know this, but Odell Beckham Jr. went healthy. He's right behind Antonio Brown. I just give the edge to Antonio Brown because the every year consistency. But Odell Beckham Jr., man, he's the game breaker. Slants to the house. Crazy catches. Can literally win you your fantasy matchup. Snap of the finger. You could be down by 5 or 6. A slant goes to Odell. Odell takes it 80 yards to the house. Now you're winning. Not many receivers, if any receivers, have that type of game-breaking ability and ability to change the game that quickly, like Odell Beckham Jr. Plus, the drafting of Saquon Barkley, Sterling Shepard, Evan Ingram. There's going to be a lot of attention on the Giants' skill positions. So, in terms from a defensive point of view. So you can't double team Odell Beckham Jr. every single play like you could in the past, because if you do that, those other elite players. Now, yes, Sterling Shepard's elite and Saquon Barkley's going to be elite. Those are elite players. So if you double team Odell every single time, we might have Sterling Shepard as a number 1 receiver, a wide receiver 1, and Saquon Barkley as an RB1. If you double team Odell Beckham Jr. every play. Either way, these Giants offensive skill players are going to eat. But Odell Beckham Jr. is the most talented and the second best receiver in fantasy football. Number 3, DeAndre Hopkins. Now, DeAndre Hopkins last year led the league in touchdown receptions with 13. And that's with Deshaun Watson missing half the season. 2 years ago, DeAndre Hopkins had 11 touchdowns. The last year, struggled a little bit, but still, last year 13 touchdowns. 2 years ago, 11 touchdowns. So that's 24 touchdowns essentially in 3 years. So this guy scores touchdowns. DeAndre Hopkins, and now Deshaun Watson's coming back for a full season. You have Will Fuller on the other side. This guy, I keep saying DeAndre, I'm sorry. This guy, DeAndre Hopkins, dominates with bad quarterback play. You give him an elite quarterback now in Deshaun Watson, I'm telling you, man, this guy, DeAndre Hopkins, the potential's there, and I'm not gassing him. The potential's there for him to score 20 touchdowns this season with Deshaun Watson throwing him the ball. Number 4, Michael Thomas. Another one, consistency. This guy, in 2 seasons, mind you, might be the second most consistent receiver in the NFL after Antonio Brown. He holds the NFL record for the most receptions by a player through his first 2 seasons in the NFL, with 196 receptions. Drew Brees trusts him. It's that simple. And when you draft a receiver in fantasy football, the quarterback's got to trust that receiver. Draft the receiver that the quarterback trusts. A la Antonio Brown. A la Michael Thomas. Drew Brees, no matter what the situation is, triple teamed, double teamed, falling down, Drew Brees is going to throw it to Michael Thomas. Hence, the 196 receptions in 2 seasons. Plus Mark Ingram being out for 4 games, Alvin Kamara stepping right in. That's going to transform the Saints offense. It's going to go back from being a run-first offense to now a pass-first offense. And you know what that means. Yeah, Alvin Kamara is going to get his catches, but in a pass-first offense, the receiver eats. That's Michael Thomas. Number 5, Julio Jones. It's simple for me with Julio Jones. That's why he's dropped to number 5. He doesn't score enough touchdowns. 1 double-digit touchdown season in Julio Jones' career. And he had just 10. He just had 10 touchdowns all the way back in 2012. Since that 10 touchdown season, here's Julio Jones' touchdown numbers per season. 2 touchdowns, 6 touchdowns, 8 touchdowns, 6 touchdowns, and just last year, 3 touchdowns. It's simple, man, for me. Julio Jones is an elite talent, a freak athlete, big, can go up and get the ball. But in fantasy football, right now, Julio Jones is better in reality than in fantasy football. That's a lot. That happens with a lot of players. And that's all comes back to the touchdowns. I need to have, if I'm drafting a receiver in the top 3, he's got to have double-digit touchdowns, man. Come on now. I can't draft Julio Jones 3rd overall or 4th overall, and he gives me 4 touchdowns or 5 touchdowns. Not happening. No. Julio Jones, for him to get back to being a top 3, not only receiver, top 3 player, I need to see double-digit touchdowns from him this season. Number 6, Mike Evans. Now, Mike Evans last year struggled, no question, but still had 1,000 yards. He has 1,000 yards receiving in all 4 of his seasons. Last year, though, only 5 touchdowns. Year before that, had 12, and then his rookie year had 12 touchdowns. So the double-digit touchdown potential is there for Mike Evans. Mike Evans can easily come back this season and have 12 to 14 receiving touchdowns. Done it before, and is that type of receiver, dominant receiver. But again, it comes back to Jameis Winston with him, with Mike Evans. Jameis Winston's got to take a step forward, man. Now, come on, this is Jameis Winston going to be his 15? This is going to be his 4th year. It's time for Jameis Winston to develop it and prove he is a franchise quarterback, not a quarterback or not an average, no, the quarterback, the franchise quarterback for the Bucs. And I think if Jameis Winston takes that step forward to where he needs to be, Mike Evans is going to explode. But Mike Evans, again, he's not. You got to blame him a little bit too because he drops a lot of passes. Sometimes it looks like he's not as focused, a little bit lazy when he's playing. But the talent's there. Again, like I said, rookie year, 12 receiving touchdowns. 2016, 12 receiving touchdowns. Last year struggled a little bit, but I'm not sweating it. Jameis Winston, bounce back season. Mike Evans, elite fantasy football season. Number 7, Keenan Allen. Last year, Keenan Allen became the first player in NFL history with at least 10 receptions, 100 reception yards, and a touchdown in 3 consecutive games. Let me repeat that for you guys. In 3 consecutive games, Keenan Allen became the first player to do this ever. 3 games in a row. 10 catches, 100 receiving yards, and a touchdown. Keenan Allen did that in 3 games straight. Keenan Allen, man, when healthy, He's an automatic bet for around 1,300 yards, 1,300 receiving yards. The touchdowns, he doesn't score a lot of touchdowns. He gets around 4 or 5 touchdowns. But with 100 plus receptions and 1,300 receiving yards, I'll take the small amount of touchdowns because he's giving you everything else you need, especially in a PPR league. Keenan Allen is one of the best route runners in the NFL. Phillip Rivers does trust him. I kind of downgraded Keenan Allen a little bit because of Hunter Henry and Hunter Henry in the red zone. But now Hunter Henry tore his ACL out for the entire season. That's only going to upgrade Keenan Allen now. I like Keenan Allen as a top 7 fantasy football receiver with the potential to sneak into the top 5. 8th, AJ Green. Every time AJ Green has played a full 16-game season, he's had at least 1,300 yards and 10 touchdowns. Until last year, when he only had 1,000 yards. It's crazy. Only had 1,000 receiving yards. Still, those aren't AJ Green numbers. But last year, AJ Green had 1,000 receiving yards. Still had 8 touchdowns, though. And AJ Green probably had his worst season last year of his entire career. But that's what I'm telling you. The floor is high for AJ Green. His worst season, 1,000 yards, 1,000 receiving yards, and 8 touchdowns. That's cool with me. I think he's going to have a better year this year. I think Andy Dalton's, one thing about Andy Dalton, knock him all you want, but fantasy football-wise, he gives AJ Green a shot, man. He just throws the ball up to AJ Green, lets AJ Green go and get it. So as a fantasy owner, and you draft AJ Green knowing that, that's all you can ask for. He's getting opportunities. AJ Green's getting targets, and his quarterbacks give him chances. And now the new offensive coordinator for the Bengals, Bill Lazor, said that he's going to feature AJ Green. And again, that's good because Andy Dalton throws it up to him regardless. Now the offensive coordinator of the Bengals wants to feature AJ Green. Yeah, that's good. That's good news. Plus, John Ross is healthy. Second-year player. That's going to take some, once he proves to be some of worth to the Bengals offense with his speed, that's going to take a little bit of attention off AJ Green. I like AJ Green to have a big bounce-back season this year, get back to being an elite fantasy football wide receiver. Number 9, Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill, man, he had a great year last year with Alex Smith as his quarterback. No disrespect to Alex Smith, but let's just be honest. Alex Smith really can't throw the ball downfield. That's not his strength. Alex Smith tried to do it last year. He had a little bit of success doing it last year, but you could tell he wasn't comfortable doing it. Now, Tyreek Hill gets Patrick Mahomes. All Patrick Mahomes wants to do is throw the ball deep and throw the ball downfield and show off his rocket arm. And that's Tyreek Hill's specialty, man. Getting deep, getting past the corner, having an edge on the safety, getting by the safety. And then you know what Patrick Mahomes does? Boop! Go get that shit, Tyreek. And there you go. 80-yard touchdown. I'm telling you, man. Tyreek Hill, I have him at 9. Oh, boy. Tyreek Hill might really snap. Just off the deep bombs, man. Just off the big playability. The Patrick Mahomes-Tyreek Hill connection is a match made in heaven. I'm telling you, Tyreek Hill, that's you think you've seen Tyreek Hill go get the ball deep? You ain't seen nothing yet. Wait till you see Patrick Mahomes throwing it deep to Tyreek Hill. Whew. 10th, Davante Adams. Now, Davante Adams, he's in a good situation right now. He's got no more Jordy Nelson. He is the new number 1 receiver now for Aaron Rodgers. But he does have to compete with Jimmy Graham in the red zone. Still, Davante Adams is going to get double-digit touchdowns. I can guarantee it. And like when you used to watch Aaron Rodgers and Jordy Nelson play, those back shoulder throws on the sideline where Aaron Rodgers would throw and Jordy Nelson would make some crazy catch on the sideline. The slants to Jordy Nelson that he would take 60 yards. Jordy Nelson's not there anymore. So now that's those throws Aaron Rodgers is going to be making are going to be going to Davante Adams. Davante Adams is going to be the new sideline guy, the new back shoulder sideline throw. That's going to be Davante Adams, Boom, back shoulder. Who is it? Oh, it's Davante Adams catching the ball on the sideline. There goes the slant to the house. Who? Oh, it's Davante Adams. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers obviously trusts Davante Adams, knows what he can do, has seen what he can do. Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of Aaron Rodgers to Davante Adams this season. Number 11, Adam Thielen. It's very simple, very, very simple with Adam Thielen. Last year, 91 receptions, almost 1,300 receiving yards with Case Keenum. Now he gets a quarterback upgrade. Kirk Cousins. Don't be surprised. Last year, like I said, had 91 receptions with Case Keenum. Don't be surprised if we see Adam Thielen have 100 receptions this season and almost 1,400 receiving yards with Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins, throws the ball a lot. Throws for a lot of receiving yards. And he wants, and every year, Kirk Cousins has had that receiver that he trusts the most when he was with the Redskins, whether it be Pierre Garcon, Deshaun Jackson, Jamison Crowder. It doesn't matter. Every single year, Kirk Cousins had a receiver that he peppered with targets and just straight up trusted. And I think eventually as this season gets going and progresses, the receiver that Kirk Cousins trusts the most is going to be Adam Thielen. Case Keenum trusted him. Now Kirk Cousins is going to trust him. And Kirk Cousins obviously is a better quarterback than Case Keenum. Yeah, don't be surprised at all if you see Adam Thielen get 100 receptions this season. 12, stay with the Vikings. Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs, man, is a big play waiting to happen. In my opinion, he's a poor man's Odell Beckham Jr. That's no disrespect to Stephon Diggs. That's just respect to Odell Beckham Jr. But the playmaking ability is very similar to Odell Beckham Jr. Last year had 8 touchdowns. Could have had more, but he missed a few games with the injuries. I can definitely see him having double-digit touchdowns this season, though. 10 to 12 touchdowns because of his big playability. Got to stay healthy, though, with Stephon Diggs. The health is a big question mark with Stephon Diggs. When healthy, he's a premier talent because he's a great route runner. He's an explosive route runner. Great hands, makes a lot of great catches. But again, just hasn't been healthy. But with Kirk, the PPR league and the PPR league, again, same with Adam Thielen. It goes back to Stephon Diggs with the quarterback upgrade. I can see Stephon Diggs having 100 receptions this year. It's that simple. It's Kirk Cousins, man. He's going to get the ball to Thielen. He's going to get the ball to Stephon Diggs. And he's going to let his receivers do the rest of the work. That's what it comes down to with Stephon Diggs and Thielen, mind you. The quarterback upgrade. They both had good fantasy seasons last year with Case Keenum. Why would it change with Kirk Cousins? 13th, Amari Cooper. Man, this guy Amari Cooper in terms of fantasy football, just weird. Very weird. First 2 years, right? Listen to this. First 2 years. He had 1,000 yards receiving both years. Over 1,000 yards receiving both years. But only 6 touchdowns his rookie year and then 5 touchdowns. Last year, he had a career low 680 receiving yards. But at a career high, 7 touchdowns. So the receiving yards weren't there, but the touchdowns were a career high. I don't know what to make of this kid Amari Cooper. I know the talent's there. I know the potential's sky high. Based off his, 210 receiving yards, 2 touchdown game against the Kansas City Chiefs last year. That game, I was playing against him in fantasy football. Killed me. I was furious. Mark Cooper doesn't show up all year against me. He wants to have 210 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. Go figure, That, again, that's his talent. That's just his talent showing. And now John Gruden takes over as the head coach of the Raiders, who's a, quarterback guy, a receiver guy. Every receiver John Gruden has ever coached better way to put it, every team that John Gruden has ever coached in the NFL, he's had at least one 1,000-yard receiver on that team. That guy I think is going to be Amari Cooper this year. Got to just put it all together, stay consistent, keep his head on the shoulders, and John Gruden will do the rest, and make it easy for Amari Cooper to have success. 14th, T.Y. Hilton. Let me emphasize this. Andrew Luck. It's just all about Andrew Luck with T.Y. Hilton, man. We could easily see T.Y. Hilton finish as a top 5 receiver. Again, another one with the big playability. It's just like you throw it deep to him, and before you know it, it's a 70-yard touchdown. That's T.Y. Hilton's speed and his big playability, quite frankly. But Andrew Luck's concerning me. That's why I have T.Y. Hilton all the way down at number 14, because you don't know what you're getting with Andrew Luck. Is he healthy? Is he 50% healthy? Is he not healthy at all? We need to find some answers. We need to get some answers on Andrew Luck before we make some significant and solidify T.Y. Hilton as a top 5, even top 10 receiver. So right now, I put him 14, still in the top 15, which is good. With Luck, with Andrew Luck, T.Y. Hilton is just not himself. He's not T.Y. Hilton because of the big playability. He needs Andrew Luck with Andrew Luck's strong arm to throw it deep to him and let T.Y. Hilton get deep and make things happen. Last year with Jacoby Brissett, it just wasn't there. Still, T.Y. Hilton's a good enough receiver where he still almost had 1,000 receiving yards last year without Andrew Luck. He had 966 receiving yards last year without Andrew Luck. This year, if Andrew Luck comes back, T.Y. Hilton's a lock for 1,300 yards, 7 touchdowns, maybe more in terms of the receiving yards because, again, big play after big play. T.Y. Hilton and T.Y. Hilton fantasy owners, please, before you go to bed tonight and every night, as a matter of fact, pray for Andrew Luck's health. And last but not least, it's a tie. For the number 15 spot, it's a tie between three receivers. Doug Baldwin, Golden Tate, and Brandon Cooks. Now, Doug Baldwin, people are like, Doug Baldwin? He barely makes your top 15? No disrespect to Doug Baldwin, but it's more about Seattle's offense now. It's going to be a run-first offense. They drafted Rashad Penny in the first round, and Pete Carroll pretty much said, listen, we're going back to that smash-mouth, Marshawn Lynch run-first offense. Where, there's no room for Doug Baldwin now. Doug Baldwin will still get his catches. He'll still get his targets, but you think Doug Baldwin in a run-first offense is going to get 100 receptions and double-digit touchdowns? I doubt that. I could definitely see Doug Baldwin having, maybe 65 to 70 receptions, 5 touchdowns, just cracking 1,000 yards receiving. That sounds like a 15th receiver to me, And then with Golden Tate, again, Golden Tate, the PPR, is a PPR maestro, but the ceiling is very low. With Golden Tate, the ceiling is very, very low. Yeah, you might get 105 receptions, 110 receptions, but how many touchdowns? 2? 3? Just barely getting over 1,000 yards. I can't draft that type of receiver in the top 8 or the top 10. That's somebody you draft in the later rounds. Still a good value pick in a PPR league. Like I said, Golden Tate's going to get a lot of receptions, but again, the ceiling's low. There's no upside with Golden Tate. There's no big playability. There's no nothing special about Golden Tate. He catches the ball. He's tough. He gets extra yards, but in terms of ceiling, nah, it's not there. So I'll live with drafting Golden Tate in the 5th or 6th round because I know he's going to give me good value in terms of PPR. And then last but not least, Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks is going to a team, the Rams, who know how to utilize the receivers. It's an offensive-minded team. He's taken over the Sammy Watkins role, and last year in that role, Sammy Watkins had 8 touchdowns. But here's the thing, he had 8 touchdowns, but he only had 600 receiving yards. So again, with Brandon Cooks, my fear with Brandon Cooks in that Rams offense is, again, that the ceiling is just very low. Yeah, the touchdowns might be there. He might get 8 to 10 touchdowns, but it's a run-first offense. Everybody knows the Rams offense is a run-first offense. So, Brandon Cooks isn't going to get a lot of catches, isn't going to get a lot of targets, isn't going to get a lot of receiving yards. He might get, again, the touchdowns, but again, if you're just drafting somebody off touchdowns, in fantasy football, if you're just drafting somebody that can score double-digit touchdowns, you're not drafting that person as a usually you're not drafting him as a top 10 player at his position. That's why I have Brandon Cooks again. And all 3 of these players, Baldwin, Tate, and Cooks, the ceiling is not high. The ceiling is very low. There's no upside with any of these 3 players. Hence, why I have them in a tie for my 15th ranked wide receiver in fantasy football. So I'll let you guys determine who you think should be number 15. Because all 3 of them, again, no upside for me. Tough choice. That being said, you know what time it is. You know what time it is. It's time for the interrogation room. Mike D'Antoni, please step into the interrogation room. How you doing, Mike? Cup of coffee? Some water? You good? Everything good? Okay. Mike D'Antoni, introduce yourself, brother. Yup, Mike D'Antoni, head coach of the Houston Rockets. Mike, great season, bro. Hell of a season. But I don't care, because now it's time to grill you. It's time for some questions. What were you thinking, bro? Listen, bro. I know you built a consistent winner this season with a never-ending barrage of 3-pointers. No doubt about it. But gosh darn it, when you miss 27 3-pointers in a row, don't you think it's time to change it up? Go in a different direction? Find another way to put the ball in the basket? 27 in a row, bro. Come on now. We're not talking about 5 or 6 in a row. You guys, your team, Mike, the Houston Rockets, missed 27 3-pointers in a row in a Game 7 winner go home. Loser go home, winner go to the NBA Finals. You missed 27 threes in a row. And what did you continue to do, Mike? You continue to shoot them. You continue to shoot threes. 3 after 3 after 3. No plan B, no plan C. I was just sitting there watching like, is this guy Mike going to tell this team to stop shooting threes and to find another way to attack this Warriors defense and find another way to put the ball in the basket? Like, for example, Mike, god damn, man, if I like the girl, right? I like the pretty girl in my class, or I see her at work, whatnot, and I want to ask her on a date, right? Okay. I ask her 5 times, 5 times I ask her, hey, You want to go out? You want to go out? You want to go out? You want to go on a date? Every single time she rejects me. That's like my limit, bro. 5 times I'm going to ask that girl to go on a date. And if she rejects me 5 times, well, cut my losses. I'll go find another way to score. I'll find another girl to talk to. I'm going to keep asking this girl out 27 times and continue getting rejected 27 times. You know who I am? I'm the attorney at sports, bro. If I get rejected, I move it. I keep it moving, bro. I keep it moving. You guys continue to shoot 3 after 3 after continuing to get rejection after rejection after rejection. The hoop was rejecting you guys, bro. You were shooting that thing right there, boop, rejected, rejection. Sending that ball right back out. You guys have to find a new way to score. Like I would have to find a new way to score with this girl. She wasn't feeling me. Well, I'll go find a new girl to score with. You guys should have found a new way to score besides the 3-point shot. Because Mike, it's simple, bro. It just wasn't working. And it's crazy because at halftime of that game 7, you guys were up 11 points. You guys were up by 11 points against the defending champion Golden State Warriors. Then you go out in the third quarter and you just, I can't believe it. These numbers I have my numbers in front of me and it's killing me to read them. Again, like I said, you were up 11 points at halftime. You go 0 for 14 in the third quarter from the 3-point line. 0 for 14. Finished the game shooting 7 for 44 from 3. That's the record. That's a record for the most missed shots, most missed 3-point shots in a playoff game in NBA history. Your team, Mike, holds that record. Your team holds the record, Mike, for the most 3-point shots in NBA history in a playoff game. How do you feel about that, Mike? Yeah, I feel you, bro. I feel you. Oh, wait, what was that? What did you just say? You live and die by the 3 ball? Mike, did you just have the nerve to tell me that you live and die by the 3? Hold up. No. The 3 killed you. Literally. You literally did die by the 3. That's the whole point of this, Mike. Live and die by the 3. You did die by the 3, man. The 3 ended you. The 3 ended your life. Oh. Listen, for me, I'm an old school guy, man. When it comes to basketball, I'm an old school player. I believe in putting the ball in the basket the easiest and the most consistent way. And I don't give a damn what the analytics say, bro. The 3-point shot is not the easiest way to put the ball in the basket. And god damn it, it's definitely not the most consistent way to put the ball in the basket. Come on. When you get in like basketball, just in the overall game of basketball, the closer you are to the basketball, the better your skills are, which would mean it's easier to put the ball in the basket. Why do you want to take a chance from shooting a 3, which is the furthest shot possible away from the basket? Don't you want to get into the basket, closer to the basket, so the shot is easier to make? Doesn't that make sense logically? Don't tell me, man. Don't tell me either. A 3-point shot is more efficient than a 2-point shot. The 2-point shot is so easy. Right there, a little 15-foot jumper. Come on now. What was your deal, Mike? Why were you so against 2-pointers? Why were you so against the mid-range jump shot? Why were you so adamant on living and dying by the 3, Mike? That's what I'm just trying to figure out. What was it? Why? Why the 3 ball? And especially why the 3 ball in Game 7 when you continue to miss 3 after 3? Why not incorporate the pick and roll? Why not take a page out of the team that you're playing against and run the offense that they run? The constant ball movement, the backdoor cuts, the curls off screens. Like you have a player in James Harden who knows how to come off the ball and hit a shot. Like he can come off a screen and hit a shot. James Harden didn't have to have the ball in his hands every single possession and dribble and then shoot a 3. It wasn't working. What don't you get about that, bro? Your offense wasn't working. And it bothers me how you didn't have a plan B in a Game 7 elimination game. It just bothers me how you were so stuck in your ways in that game and just continued to do what wasn't working. I don't know, man. I just don't know with you, Mike. You're a good coach, bro. You've had a lot of success in this league, You've you've set the standard and you've changed the game many times. Nobody will nobody will ever forget what you did in Phoenix. You modernized the game. You were doing today's NBA. You were doing that with the Suns in 2015, 2016. You were shooting threes. You were running the floor with pace. People looked at you like, what is this guy doing? Who does he think he is? And it turned out to be the right thing, because that's what the NBA is today. But bro, you gotta just learn how to adapt. The good coaches settle. And Mike D'Antoni, you're a good coach, and you settled in Game 7. You said, you know what? We got this far by doing what we've been doing. Let's continue to do it. You settled. You were complacent. You were content. But the great coaches adapt. And it's that simple, Mike. The great coaches adapt. You didn't adapt in Game 7. If you adapted, you would have had a shot, bro. You would have had a shot. You're up 11 points. 11 points at halftime. Come out in that third quarter, shoot 0 for 14 from 3. That fourth quarter, you shouldn't have shot another 3. That fourth quarter, you should have went back to attacking the Warriors, running the pick and roll, and getting good shots. Whether it be a 2, whether it be a layup, don't matter. It doesn't matter. But you shouldn't have shot any more 3s after you went 0 for 14 in the third quarter after being up 11 points at halftime. It's that simple. And Mike, don't even get me started with the isolation nonsense. I hate the isolation. I'm a Melo fan. I've seen plenty of isolation in my day. Actually, I'm a Melo fan, no doubt, but I'm a Knicks fan first and foremost. I got the Melo Knicks jersey. Let's just put it like that. So I've seen plenty of isolation. I've seen you with the Knicks running isolation. It's funny, when you ran isolation with the Knicks, it didn't work. You had one of the most, efficient isolation. Well, I don't want to say efficient, but one of the most well-known isolation scorers of all time, Carmelo Anthony. It just didn't work, bro. But I've always said this. When your main source of offense is isolation, you're not going to win a championship, bro. It's that simple. Even the triangle offense with Phil Jackson, with Chicago, and with the Lakers. A lot of isolation in it, but if you watch those highlights of the triangle offense, a lot of times the ball go into the post, and as soon as the ball go in the post, the wing guy would cut to the cut baseline, and there you go. That's a pass for a layup. So there's no isolation in that. Like, a lot of people are just so, infatuated with the star players and the flashy numbers and the 35 points per game. And that's cool. You need that. You need a player that can do that on your team. But if that's all that player can do, and that's all your team does, you're not going anywhere. And that's all your team did. Either shoot threes or isolation with James Harden. And it did you in. You lived and died by your strategy. You lived and died by shooting 3. You lived and died by playing isolation basketball. And Mike, you didn't live, bro. You died. Thank you for coming into the interrogation room. Thank you for coming to the interrogation room, Mike. You could take a hike. I have all the evidence I need. Thanks for coming in. Yeah, guys. Well, Mike D'Antoni, man, it's simple. Good basketball coach. Knows the game of basketball very well, Good guy. Great dude. Off the court, he's just a good person. But he's a good coach. He's not a great coach. He's a good coach that has a great regular season player in James Harden. Had a Hall of Fame point guard for the entire season besides Game 7. He had great offensive skill position players. It's that simple. That's why his team was so successful. Because he's seen what he had in James Harden, and he said, you know what, this guy, James Harden, he's a good player, but he's an isolation player. So let's make my offense isolation. And that's what the Rockets were, isolation team that shot a lot of threes. And eventually, that's gonna wear out. That's what happens every year with a team that shoots a lot of threes. Besides the Warriors, because again, the Warriors don't only shoot threes. I think this year the Warriors shot the most 2-pointers out of any team in the NBA. So don't tell me the Warriors only shoot threes. Like the Warriors, however the shot is, whatever shot is given to them, they take. The Rockets, they don't go above the 3-point line unless it's for a layup. I don't like that, man. That does you in. That will do you in, and it's done Mike D'Antoni in everywhere he's gone. When you live and die by something, an opponent knows that. An opponent will take that away from you, knowing you have nothing else in your arsenal. And that's what the Warriors did. They took away the 3-ball, and they said, you know what? We took away their specialty. We took away their bread and butter. We took away their heart. Let's see how they respond. Well, when someone takes away your heart, you can't respond because you're dead. And that's what happened with the Rockets. The Warriors took away the Rockets' heart, and the Rockets died. Case closed. Mike D'Antoni's a good coach, not a great coach. Oh, yeah. Need some music, man. Need some music. It's early in the morning. Need some music to wake me up. This coffee ain't doing it, man. It's just not doing it. But here we go. You know what time it is. It's time for What's the Case on the Base. Time for my, players to add, players to drop, in the sport we like to call fantasy baseball. Let's talk about the players to add. Last week we switched it up. We went with the players to drop first. Let's just go back to what we're used to. I'm going to tell you the players to add first. Number 1, Brandon Nimmo from the Mets. This kid's raking, bro. This kid is raking, man. He's on a hit streak right now. It's going on 3 weeks. Since May 13th, Brandon Nimmo's hitting .304, 4 stolen bases, and he's walking a lot. He's getting on base a lot. Now, he's hitting leadoff. Most of the time, he's hitting leadoff for the Mets. And a leadoff hitter in baseball, especially fantasy baseball, is somebody that usually gets on base. High on base percentage. And again, a leadoff hitter is usually fast. So once he gets on base, the stolen base potential and the stolen base threat is there. And again, since May 13th, Brandon Nimmo has 4 stolen bases. So he's hitting for average, getting on base, and stealing bases for you. We don't really know much about Brandon Nimmo, so is it gonna continue? Who knows? But just continue to enjoy it. Why it lasts? That's simple. 2, Carlos Rondon from the White Sox. Now, he's coming back from Tommy John surgery. He's making his debut next week. But this young lefty, man, he's got pure swing and miss stuff. Like nasty stuff. Like 10 strikeout per game stuff. That's the type of nasty potential and the nasty elite stuff that Carlos Rondon has. I could easily see, now he hasn't pitched in a while. He's going to be on a pitch limit. But again, he has a fresh arm. He already had nasty stuff before the injury. I could see him coming back and the rest of the season, averaging 8 to 10 strikeouts per game. Oh, man. You're giving me a pitcher that's going to strike out 10 batters a game? Yo, let me get him on my team, please. Go take a look at picking up Carlos Rondon from the White Sox. Number 3, Mitch Moreland. Now, Mitch Moreland, he's the everyday first baseman now for the Red Sox because the Red Sox designated Hanley Ramirez, sent Hanley Ramirez packing. There's no more Hanley Ramirez now in the Red Sox lineup. That means Mitch Moreland's going to be the everyday first baseman for the Red Sox. Now, career-wise, Mitch Moreland's only been a .255 hitter. But this year, he's hitting .319 so far this year with 8 home runs. Mitch Moreland, who's a career .255 hitter, is hitting .319? That just tells me it's not going to last. It's not sustainable. But again, he's an everyday player. He's going to be in the lineup every day. So if he continues to hit like that and continues to give you the power, again, like I said, 8 home runs this year, we could see Mitch Moreland having an elite, by the time that it's all said and done, finish as an elite fantasy baseball first baseman. Number 4, Tyson Ross. This guy, man, this guy's simple with Tyson Ross. He just keeps the ball in the ballpark, man. He doesn't give up home runs. It's crazy. In 65 innings, 11 starts for Tyson Ross this year. 11 starts, 65 innings. He's only given up 5 home runs. Pretty solid, if you ask me. 3.13 ERA. The win-loss record's not great. It's 4-3. Tyson Ross, though, has just been, he's never been an elite pitcher, never been a great pitcher. But what Tyson Ross has been for most of his career is a solid pitcher, a useful pitcher. He'll give you 6 quality innings for the most part, 5 or 6 strikeouts, keeps the ball in the ballpark, like I mentioned, doesn't give up home runs. Just not special. He's just not special. He's not elite, but he's useful. And in fantasy baseball, those useful pitchers are great to have on your team because they're consistent and you know what you're getting from them. Tyson Ross is one of them. And 5th, Matt Kemp. Matt Kemp, man, he's having an incredible season right now. He's in .338 with 6 home runs. Can he keep it up? Matt Kemp, is a good player, but is he a .338 hitter? No. Come on. He's a good player. But again, with Matt Kemp, he's going to have an everyday role because, one, he plays great defense. He plays elite defense out there in the outfield. So even if he starts to struggle hitting-wise, the Dodgers are going to keep him in the lineup because of his defense. So if he's in the lineup, even though he's struggling, all it takes is 1 hit or 1 home run to break out of that slump, and then Matt Kemp's back. So continue to roll with Matt Kemp. Why would you not if he's hitting .338? But just anticipate him, regressing a little bit, but don't panic, don't cut bait because he's going to be in the Dodgers lineup every day, and he's going to get opportunities, and he's going to get chances. to continue to hit. Let's talk about some players to drop. I hate giving you guys the negatives, man, but I hate being negative with you guys in general. You know that, but hey, I don't want you to have these guys on your team, and then you end up losing, and you blame the attorney. Hey, why didn't you tell? No, so that's why I add this part into the show where I tell you to drop players. Again, it's negative. I don't like to be negative, but hey, I care about you guys. So listen to me tell you these players to drop, and go ahead and drop them. Number 1, Hunter Pence. Now, Hunter Pence is coming back from the DL. You might have been patient with him. You might have kept him, because Hunter Pence has proven to be a pretty good player. Good guy. He's funny. I don't know if you ever watch him play. He's funny. He's just a good person. Good personality. But personalities don't win you fantasy baseball matchups. They don't win you fantasy baseball championships. So, with that being said, if you tried to reward Hunter Pence for by keeping him and being patient with him, it's going to end up burning you, because when Hunter Pence comes back, he's not going to have a role. There's no role for him on the Giants, because now Mac Williamson is the everyday left fielder for the Giants. Obviously, they have Andrew McCutchen, so there's really no room for Hunter Pence to play out there in the outfield. He'll get his opportunities on a day off for Mac Williamson or a day off for Andrew McCutchen, but in fantasy baseball, you don't want players on your team that play every 5 days. That's just that simple. So, hate to say it, but I like this kid, but Hunter Pence, head to the waiver wire. Number 2, Zach Godley from the Diamondbacks. Now, Zach Godley right now is 4-4 with a 4.53 ERA. We needed him. The Diamondbacks needed him to step up with Zach Greinke struggling and Robbie Ray hurt, but he hasn't. Zach Godley just hasn't done it. He's 4-4. ERA's in the mid-4s, almost 5s. This month, I think he's like 0-3 with like an ERA in the 8s. He's just not doing well. He's struggling. He's in a slump. And I don't got time to have players on my team that are struggling and are in a slump and just can't get out of it. So until Zach Godley can find a way to pitch the ball and not give up 8 runs a game, he's not going to be on the attorney's team. And you guys know where he's going to be if you want to go take a chance on him. He'll be on the waiver wire. Zach Godley, head to the waiver wire. Staying on that same team, the Diamondbacks, another pitcher to drop, Patrick Corbin. He started off brilliant, man. Patrick Corbin was like, who is this kid? Is this kid going to win the Cy Young? He was pitching that great. Patrick Corbin was just, dominating. But he slowed down considerably over the last 2 months. In Patrick Corbin's last 7 starts, he's got 1 win. 7 starts, just 1 win? Yo, wins are a category, bro. If you're giving me 1 win in 7 starts, that's 8 starts, and you only give me 1 win. Come on. No, I don't need it. No. I hate to be mean, but come on, Patrick Corbin. I need some wins, bro. I need some freaking wins. And until you start getting me some wins, send your ass to the waiver wire. Patrick Corbin just got lit up last night for 6 runs by the Reds. And again, let me talk a little positive. Let me switch the gear a little bit. Patrick Corbin last night did have 10 strikeouts. So strikeouts are there. But giving up 6 runs, I'm good. Sorry, don't need it. Patrick Corbin, head to the waiver wire. Dexter Fowler for the Cardinals. Yeah, drop him. Just drop him. Just drop him. Hitting 157. Oh, man. 157. Dexter Fowler's hitting. Only has 3 stolen bases. Now, Dexter Fowler is a fast player, So if he was hitting 157, say he had like 12 stolen bases, I would live with it because he's getting me the stolen bases. But he's hitting 157, only has 2 stolen bases, barely any home runs. Nah, there's no need for Dexter Fowler on my team. There's players that, you can live with them struggling because they give you other attributes and give you other categories, but no, Dexter Fowler's not fulfilling any of my categories. I would hope Dexter Fowler could fulfill my stolen base category, but he's not doing it. You know what that means? Dexter Fowler, hit the waiver wire, bro. And then 2 pitchers on the Yankees I want you to, consider dropping. CC Sabathia and Sonny Gray. CC Sabathia, man, just doesn't have it anymore. He doesn't have that stuff that results in fantasy baseball success. And by that, I mean he doesn't have that overpowering fastball anymore. His fastball's been sitting at like 89 miles per hour. That's just not going to cut it, man. It's not going to get you strikeouts. It's going to get you hit hard. And that's what has been happening with CC Sabathia. He's been getting hit very hard because his fastball is flat and not fast and just right over the plate. And if he's going to get hard in real life, he's going to get hit hard in fantasy baseball. And that's what he's been doing. And then the other pitcher on the Yankees, Sonny Gray. He's just been inconsistent, man. Not pitching well. And he's not pitching with confidence. He's not pitching good. He's not pitching well at all. And the Yankees are going to get a starting pitcher at the deadline. It's going to happen no matter what. And honestly, if these guys, CC and Sonny Gray, continue to pitch as poorly as they've been pitching, one of them is going to be the odd man out of that Yankees rotation. So honestly, until the trade deadline, CC Sabathia and Sonny Gray are competing for one spot in that rotation. So again, you might want to keep them. I know I'm telling you to drop them, but it can actually be beneficial to keep them both if you have them both, or if you have one of them, because they're going to be competing against each other, and I'm sure they know that for one spot in that rotation. And competition, like they say, the old saying, competition brings the best out of people. So CC and Sonny Gray in a competition for one spot, two guys competing for one spot, that could bring the best out of those two. If there's anything left in there, anything left in the tank for CC, that might come out. If Sonny Gray wants to, start being Sonny Gray again, that might come out. So as of now, drop them, but keep in the back of your mind, again, competition brings the best out of people. Well, that's it for episode 6 of Sports in Order. I thought it was a pretty good episode, Sometimes after I record, I re-listen, and it's usually when I record at this time. It's early in the morning. It's like 9 o'clock here. I just woke up. That's why I have the coffee. But my voice, you could tell I just woke up with my voice. So if I sound a little raspy, that's exactly why, because I just woke up. That's why I'm trying to be a little bit louder and talk louder, so it kind of takes the attention away from my raspy voice. But anyway, that being said, my bad. Just want to apologize to you guys. Hopefully the content's good. That's all I care about. Screw my voice, right? My voice sucks anyway. You guys don't want to listen to my voice. You guys want to listen to the content. Hey, my voice don't suck. Watch your mouth. With that being said, though, the jury has decided its verdict. The verdict is in. Let's read it. Let's see what the sentencing is. Wow, okay. You guys sure? It's a little harsh. Okay. All right. The jury has sentenced all of you guys to 25 years to life of eating buffalo wings, drinking ice-cold beer, and enjoying sports. I'm the attorney at sports. This is my courtroom. Thanks for tuning in to episode 6 of Sports in Order. The jury's out.